1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you choose, you better.
So let's get right into today's video. So I'm gonna be reacting to a channel called 30 to Life. I believe his name is Uso Ron, and he's talking about a incident he's seen in High Desert. So let's get into it.
High Desert State Prison, B Yard, and this is my war dog. So High Desert is like any other prison. It's located in the cuts. It's far away from civilization and shit. There's only a small town in that area. So it's really far away from a lot of us folks that get sent up there. And, you know, it's hard for our families to get up there and visit us.
Now, I don't know if you guys seen early in the career of Damian Porter. I interviewed Damian Porter and he was talking about High Desert. And according to Damian Porter, the big fella, this was the worst prison in the California Department of Corrections system. It was very violent. It was known to be a prison that was heavily populated by white convicts. There was a lot of rumors that this prison was also, or that a lot of the prison staff who worked in there aided the white convicts in some form or fashion, sometimes even providing them with knives from the street. And I've heard this from many people. So this is a very dangerous prison.
A lot of people coming from LA or from the Bay Area, you got to travel hours and hours, hundreds of miles away just to visit their family members within the prison. So it's just a dangerous drive. It's a hardship for a lot of people. And a lot of times they end up staying in these hotels that are within the area of the prison. And a lot of the women there, they get to meet each other and the kids get to play with each other there. And so our family members end up being friends out there, kind of supporting each other, you know, through the whole thing, because they have one thing in common, and that is that, you know, they have a family member locked up. So long story short, my wife.
Let me just add something randomly real quick too. That's true. You know, you have a lot of females who come up there to support their boyfriends, you know, their husbands, so on and so forth, and they create bonds, man. And this is off topic, but it just reminds me, man, of a friend of mine, man. This dude had several women coming to visit him, right? And these other women would see him with different women, and they would be mad at him, man. And you know, because like he said, they make bonds, the women make bonds, right? And one particular weekend, my boy got married, man. He got married to a female, man. And 2 weeks later, he was out there with another female. He said they was giving him dirty looks. He said, my boy said they wanted to run over there and kill him, man. My boy was crazy, man. But he had several women coming up to see him, man. It was what it was. Hey, but back to the story, though.
Ended up befriending another lady there, and my kid, she would hang out with this lady's kid and play over there at the hotel. Well, when my wife came to visit me, she showed me the lady who she was friends with, and I saw that her husband came in and he was from my yard, and I noticed that he's a Southsider. So I did what I felt was necessary, and I asked my wife, you know, not to speak with that lady anymore and to kind of keep to herself, because within the yard, that man will do whatever he got to do to kill me if our peoples go to war. So to me, I was thinking, you know, man, I don't want my wife sharing information with this lady or anything like that. So I asked her to please stop talking to her. Well, my wife, she does her own thing, and she basically told me, we don't play those politics out here on the streets. Y'all do what you do, but Out here, we don't play that shit. And I
Now, somebody might be wondering if I ever had something like that happen, a similar situation. And no, I never really did, right? But one thing I wouldn't do, right? Intentionally, I wouldn't get close to anybody who wasn't necessarily part of my race or part of my car, but especially my race, man, because I grew up in a small town, right? And so I'm used to just being cool with whoever I'm cool with. I am the way I am, man. I have Hispanic friends. I have white friends who I have literally known since first grade, right? And so it's in me to be, to be cool to these people because I've been knowing these people all my life. And so when you interact with people, or at least when I interact with people, I interact with them how I interact with them. So for me personally, I felt it was better for me not to get too close to an individual. In the event something did jump off, I wouldn't hesitate or be too slow to do what I have to do. It's a cold situation to be in, but sometimes that's how it is.
was like, okay. But I just don't think she understood the seriousness of how it goes down in there. So, but I didn't argue it. I let it go. And that was that. Well, over time, me and this guy, as we're leaving the visiting room, would exchange words every once in a while. And I remember a time he was just basically telling me that he appreciates my wife and his wife's friendship because his wife doesn't have anybody to talk to. It's really hard for her to come up to that place and visit. So it was really helping her that she got somebody to talk to while she was up visiting. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I realized a lot of things within that moment, and that was that we are all human beings, and we're all in fucked up circumstances, and the situation that we're in causes us to live by certain codes and certain ways, but in all reality, we're all suffering from the same shit. So, it just helped me see a different light on things, even though I kept my guard up and made sure, that I wasn't doing anything out of pocket to get myself caught up or my car caught up in there, as well as he was doing the same also. So as time went on, our families, they hang out with each other. They got to know each other. I got to know him a little bit more, where he was from. I'm not going to speak on where he's from or his name. But because of our families, me and him were able to see each other as regular people versus looking at each other as I run with a certain car and he runs with a certain car. So,
and a lot of times, a lot of people hear that California prison is segregated. And I like to use the word separated. It's not segregated, it's separated. This race over here, so on and so forth, right? And when you do, it's not segregated because all races interact, right? And depending on the individuals, all races have good relationships with each other, at work or, specific little areas where you guys may hang out, at your jobs, at when you go to get a trade, so on and so forth. You have to interact and sometimes work hand in hand with another individual from another race. And after a while, it's just human nature that sometimes you will develop a bond with other individuals from other races, right? And so you never know how they're going to react if you guys get caught up in a situation. Like I spoke on a story about, I got real cool with a dude from another car, and he was my celly. His car and my car happened to go to war on the street. On the yard behind something that was unrelated to me and him. And while I'm fighting two of his homies, this dude ran up and attacked me, right? So you never know what is in the mind of another individual, right? And so in order to prevent that, in order to prevent yourself from being victimized in a situation, because in that situation, when my car got into it with my celly's car, I would have never attacked my celly. Me and my celly was cool. My celly, we had been in there 5-6 months. He wasn't doing the greatest financially. I was fortunate enough to be doing good. I'd always look out for him every time, I ate. Every time I'd go to the store, I'd get him something. he had his father passed away. I told him, hey man, go call my mom. She'll make a 3-way for you, because he couldn't get on the phone, right, to find out a lot of the information. And so after all that stuff, man, the dude runs up on me and attacks me while I'm fighting two of his homies. So it's just, for a person who has never been to prison, you may not understand it, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do to keep yourself safe.
So there was this one time that I had gotten out of visiting a little early. So I was just able to go to the tables and hang out with my people for a little while yard was open, and just wait for yard recall. So I got out a little bit earlier than old boy, but I saw him come out the gate, out of the visiting gate, and I saw his peoples waiting for him, and they were walking with him around the yard to head back to their area where they usually kick it at. So as he's passing by where I'm at with my people, he stops and he says, "What's up, Ron?" And I'm like, "What's up, man?" And it was kind of weird that he was doing that, because like I said, on the yard, this isn't something that is accepted. But he then proceeds to tell me, "Come here, man." So I walk over to him, say what's up, and he extends his hand, shakes my hand, and gives me a hug, and basically tells me, "You a good dude, man," right in front of his homeboys. So they spin off, and I walk back, to my people, and I'm tripping on the whole thing, because this is something that doesn't happen. And I know that the yard, everybody sees everything. So when I walk back up, my people automatically ask me, "What's up? What's going on?" And I said, "I don't know." You know what I mean? I just know him from the visiting room, and my family and his family kick it with each other out there. So, but I don't know what that was about. But I really didn't know what it was about. You know what I mean? Just the fact that old boy was treating me like a decent human being, and it's fucked up that we got to question that. But that's how it is in there, So he walks off with his people. They walk over to the handball court. Looks like they're about to go play some handball. I'm still watching, because I just really just kind of shocked and don't understand what happened there. But, that was the fucked up mentality we had in there. So he just being a decent dude. And he walks over there to the handball court, and
now let me pause this right here, right? I was in New Kern, which is a level 3, right? And I happened to run across a dude, man. I'll say his name, Ruben. Ruben was a Mexican dude who I grew up with. Ruben and his brother Glenn. Rest in peace to his brother Glenn. I've been knowing these dudes my whole entire life, man. I have first and second grade pictures with Glenn. Me and Glenn was in the same school, right? In the same grade, man. Rest in peace to Glenn. Unfortunately, he lost his life maybe about a year or two ago. Somebody went into his house and unalived him, and I don't think they found out who it was. And so I've been, like I said, knowing these dudes all my life, man. So Ruben, the younger brother, was kind of he was kind of into it. He was more rambunctious, let's say, than Glenn, And so at New Kern, me and Ruben happened to be on the yard. He recognized me like, "Hey man, what's up, man? What's up?" He called me by my real name, right? This is how long I've been knowing him. So we walked around, the track a little bit, not a whole entire lap, but just talking a little bit, catching up, what I'm saying, just hollering. And it wasn't unusual. I say that to say that you will see sometimes, people of other races talking and stuff, and he filled me in. He told me actually it was some Hispanic dudes whose mother had used to babysit me and my brother. Her grandson was on the yard. And so, we talked a little bit, said what's up, shook each other's hand, and he walked on his way. So sometimes you do see people just chopping it up on the yard. I don't think there's no harm in that. I don't, he didn't get any trouble like that because of that. But, so sometimes things like that do happen. We didn't hang out every day, of course. When I see him, we nod, say what's up, keep doing our thing. But, stuff like that does occur.
He takes his visiting shirt off. He's got the white t-shirt under the blue visiting shirt. So he takes off the visiting shirt off, hands it off, and then he grabs the ball and he goes into the handball court, and he goes to throw the ball against the wall. Well, the three dudes that were on the court with him, they rush him and they start sticking him. One of the dudes had 2 knives on him. So they're sticking him. He's fighting. He ends up knocking one of them on the ground. He keeps fighting, but there's nothing much he can really do because these guys are really just, because these guys are on full attack and they got weapons. So the yard goes down. Cops shoot the block gun, whatever. Yard goes down. People are laid out on the ground and everything. And so the cops come out there. So what the cops do is when they come up there, they handcuff the people that are involved in the situation. So they handcuff everyone, and they ask the dude that I know, do you need medical to come take you off the yard? And basically what they do with that is they drive on the yard like on a golf cart, and it's a medical staff and an officer. And then they basically pick you up and put you on the cart and drive you off the yard and take you to medical so they can hurry up and operate on you or whatnot. But when the cop asked him that, and the yard is fucking quiet, and you could hear a pin drop on the yard. It's so fucking quiet.
And I just said a couple of days ago in a video, that's the giveaway on the yard when something's going on. That dead silence, and a lot of times when cars will have a issue that they need to handle, they'll go to the other races and give them a courtesy, like, hey, we got something we need to do, we're gonna be handling it today on this yard or whatever, so the other cars will know what's going on and they won't think it's something that is not possibly and run down there and create or cause a bigger situation, right? But when something like that happens, you don't want to look over there. You don't want to, you don't want to draw attention to what's going on. Sometimes, though, it's still hard not to look over there. But whether you look or not, you try to continue doing what you're doing. But it's almost like a silence, right? It's just a extremely eerie feeling. If you guys can look behind you, right? This is a 270 yard, right? This is a level 4 yard right here, or a level 3 yard known as a 270, where the whole entire yard, it appears to be 4 or 5 buildings on the yard, and everybody comes out at once, right? And I think it's like maybe 200 people in the building. So just imagine, maybe 100 people out there on the yard because you got some people at work or whatever, and then just it's dead, complete silence. Especially once the guards see this dude being attacked, when they say, get down, first thing most individuals is going to do, they're going to look around and locate what's going on. You don't want to just get down because it might be racial, so you want to figure out what's going on. And then once you understand that you getting down will not make yourself vulnerable to an attack, then you'll get down. But then that's when everybody's really staring. And now they have these alarms that's on top of these buildings that's going off, in a red light. But once all that stops and you're looking over there, the yard is quiet, right? The only thing you really can hear is the guards and stuff talking. Everybody's now it's okay to pay attention once the guards, see what's going on and they run over there to prevent the situation. So now you got pretty much everybody on the yard laying down if they had a chance to position themselves toward what's going on, so everybody now is watching this situation. And so, and this, right? You're aware it's extremely quiet on the yard. And if you have not been through this, it's just extremely hard to explain, right? It's extremely hard to explain.
But when the cop asked him that, all you heard from old boy was, fuck nah, walk me off this yard. And so they picked his ass up.
Let me take you guys a little bit back.
But when the cop asked him that, all you heard from old boy was, fuck nah, walk me off this yard. And so they picked his ass up, and I'm telling you, his white t-shirt was just dark red, filled with blood. He got stabbed multiple times. So I noticed the stab wound in his neck, and I see it. It's just like pouring out his neck. It's not like spraying or anything, but it's like pouring out of his neck, and it's shimmering. That's the only word that comes to mind when I try to describe how his wound was. The blood was shimmering. It was just like waves coming out and waves out of his neck. And
now some people might be wondering, okay, well, if this dude is stabbed up all bad and stuff, why is he refusing to be put on the golf cart, the little medical cart, and drove across the yard? And it's simple and plain. 100% pride. 100% pride. You know, he's making a statement to everybody on that yard, letting them know, hey, man, I may have been attacked. It was 3 of these dudes. I don't care how many knives, you know, they had or whatever. I fought, and I'm not going out like a victim. I'm not going to appear to be a victim. I'm going to walk off on my own 2 feet under my own will, because it's a pride thing. I don't want you guys to think that, you know, I have been victimized any further than I have by going out on a cart. So it's pretty much him basically thumbing his nose at, you know, whoever attacked him, like, man, you guys didn't do much, you know. And it's 100% pride that, you know, honestly, a real gang member, a real warrior is going to show, you know, regardless, man, of how hurt he may be or whatever. He's not going to give the people who attacked him the satisfaction of saying, hey, man, you guys sent me out of here on a stretcher.
He walked off that yard, you know, in handcuffs. He didn't get carried off. And I remember, you know, some of my people were saying, that's a soldier right there, you know. And I felt the same way, and I'm sure everybody on the yard felt the same way, because I've seen people get stabbed and then they run and scream for help and things like that. I don't know. Like I said, he was a good dude in my eyes.
Oh man, I messed that up. Let me go back to it. And I'm laughing, right? Because I've seen just that, man. I've seen, you know, some dudes portrayed to be big, bad, and tough, man. And when that knife get on them, they do things that are not associated with the toughness that they was trying to show or pretend they had before, you know, they eventually got attacked, man. And this is off topic a little bit too, right? But that's why I say that, you know, you have a lot of people that say that 6ix9ine wasn't a real blood, right? So once he told on everybody, it didn't count. And nobody's a real blood. Nobody's a real Crip. Nobody's a real a Northerner or a Southsider until they're tested. Until you have a situation that you have to stand up to and perform, right? So once I got arrested for everything that I got arrested for, had I started telling and talking to the police, then people would have said all the time, oh man, Chill was never a real gangster. You know, had 6ix9ine kept his mouth shut, didn't say anything, didn't tell, then people would have considered him a real gangster, right? So it's not what you do beforehand as far as the individuals in the streets are concerned. It's how you perform when certain tests and tasks come your way, what have people determine if you're a real gangster or not. Hopefully I've got close to the spot. Let's see where I'm at.
I felt the same way, because I've seen people get stabbed and then they run and scream for help and things like that. I don't know. Like I said, he was a good dude in my eyes. He treated me decently, you know what I mean? And it's just a fucked up world in there, you know what I mean? So I guess I'm just telling you these stories, you guys, because no matter what you think, if you end up in a place like that, it strips you of everything. You know, you're no longer human. You're just a fucking number. You're just part of, you know, the movement that's going on within that prison, and you no longer have control of who you are.
Now, look, to me, so it kind of seems like this dude is getting emotional, right, as he's reliving these situations and incidents. And just like he's saying, when you're up in there, man, you have to be numb to the pain, man. It's like you have to push that shit down, and it's like you're damn near turn yourself into another individual, right? And sometimes you stuff that shit so far down in you that you don't even realize the person that you've become, or you don't realize how far you have gotten away from the person you was raised to be, until you reflect on that shit, right? And like earlier, when I was talking about Glenn and Ruben, man, when I got out, I seen Glenn a couple of times. You know, Glenn was all, what's up, man? He called me by my name. He would talk to me and stuff, you know. Like I said, this dude he wasn't somebody who I grew up with. This dude was a friend of mine, man. You know what I'm saying? And so he'd ask me about my uncle, you know, because my uncle had passed away while I was locked up. Him and my uncle was good friends. Even though my uncle was several years older than my uncle became paralyzed. He would go past my uncle's house, look out for him, take care of him. My mom said after my uncle passed away, he didn't know it. And she seen him one day at the store and he asked, you know, how's your brother? And my mom told him that, you know, my uncle had passed away. He cried, man. He said Glenn broke down and started crying. And so it's just that, you know, it's only human nature sometimes, man, to have caring feelings about other people. And sometimes when you're forced to push all that stuff down with you and then you relive it, it does affect you. Like we're seeing it's affecting Ron right here. I think this is pretty much the end of the video. I'm gonna see how much more he has to say though. But I mean, you know, never consider this dude weak, man. It's human to have to, you know, let out some of these feelings sometimes, some of the stuff that we witness in prison, because it's an inhumane way to live, man.
And it's hard. And so I guess all I can say with that is, you know what it is. Stay the fuck out of trouble.
And that's real talk, man. You know, sometimes I hear people in the comments saying this and that, you know, about, oh man, dude, you know, he doesn't want to go back to prison. Talk about in reference to me, you know, when I'm clowning a certain individual, right? And you damn right, I don't want to go back to prison. Okay, hold on, little buddy, just go. Why would anybody want to go back to prison? It's a horrible, messed up way to live. I mean, you know, we have to deal with it when we're there, but once we get out, man, it's a whole lot of freedom and a whole lot of good stuff going on out here, you know. And so I just thought that I would bring you guys that video. I only watched the first 2-3 minutes of it, right? And I just felt it was going to be a good video to react to, and it definitely turned out to be a good video to react to. So anyway, man, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.
Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the evil that men do. Father God, I pray and ask that you help me to have mercy on others the same way I would want you to have mercy on me. Father God, I also ask that you help me to be quick to forgive and slow to get angry. Amen, amen, amen. These young dudes out here don't respect shit until you put the barrel in their ear and let the text spit. I just might catch a case on my next hit, remove their whole face on some special effect shit. So show respect, Drake, or I'ma have a flashback. Digging through the dresser like fuck it, where my mask at? The mash back with the banger and damage shit and say fuck everything I learned in anger management. Hop back on some east side Dannon shit and push a nigga's top back when I let the cannon spit. Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound, and I shoot quicker than ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. The ski mask with the K squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps. The ski mask with the K squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Gun on me, it ain't never for show, homie. I'm far from a bully, but I'm never a hoe. Get out of line, my Beretta will blow. Real talk, we can take the beef wherever we go. I bring it to your front door like I'm Uber Eats. I guarantee you listen up when this Ruger speaks. Plus I maneuver through these streets like a ghost, and I'm handy with the heat, I cook a nigga like a roast. On me, homie, this is not a boast. I will still come through, boy, and stop a nigga's post. Play him close, man, Eric will ease it. Quickly off the waistband, man, and Eric will squeeze it. Leave you niggas laid out dead or paraplegic. Niggas playing in these streets while I'm very strategic. I come to your house dressed like the gas man, shoot you 9 times, leave you stretched by the trash can. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. The ski mask with the K squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps. The ski mask mask with the K, squeezing keys, zap, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecap. I don't put shit on Facebook, I just holler in person. Put the pistol in your mouth while you're hollering and cursing. All that shit you kept rehearsing and put on your live, got you clapped with the big 4-5. You bitch nigga, if you tell me to pull up, I'ma do that. That nigga who was woofing, first nigga that I shoot at. Ski mask on my face, bystanders be like, who that? I ain't with the talking, bitch boy, I thought you knew that. Leave his brains where my shoe at, and bounce like I'm on a trampoline. Leave you laid out, nigga, like you camping on the scene. If you want something sweet, grab a peach or tangerine. Niggas won't smoke, well fuck it, I'ma let them handle steam. AR with the beam, you see the red dot? We tug on this trigger, nigga, it'll make your head pop. Blood pouring down to your shoes, call it Red Sox. Your brains hanging all over your shoulders like some dreadlocks. Expect the gang of dead off if they ever cross the line. The Lord said in the Bible, oh, revenge is mine. So I'm just trying to find a righteous path between the two. Before I lose control and do the shit I used to do. This being humble shit is new. I'm trying to turn the other cheek, but I ain't never been a bitch, so watch your mouth when you speak. Your mercy's what I seek, so I pray on bended knees. Don't let me get the K with the extended clip and squeeze. Lord, please. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the K, squeezing key zap, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps. A ski mask with the K, squeezing key zap, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.